webinar series Stan Weaver will be hosting throughout the year. We appreciate everyone taking their time out of their busy mornings to learn and educate themselves on a great industry topic. A few quick housekeeping notes before we begin. This meeting will be recorded. Again, this is the second of a 10 webinar series we will be hosting. If you've made it to this event, you are a step closer in getting your chance to win an iPad. Yep, you heard me correctly. If you attend 8 of our webinars this year, we'll throw your name in the hat at the end of the series, and one lucky winner will get to visit from their Stan Weaver salesman with an iPad gifted to them. These presentations are going to be quick and to the point, no more than 30 minutes in length, and then we will have a dedicated Q&A session after the presentation. We have muted all attendees for the length of this meeting. Again, we will be utilizing the Q&A function within Zoom located on your screen. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please submit them in the Q&A section, and we will get to all those at the end of the presentation. Lastly, there will be a survey at the end of the event. Please take time to complete this and submit this survey to us. We will review all submissions, and we will use these comments to better this series for us and all attendees going forward. Now, with no further ado, I'd like to present our speaker and topic for today. Eric Brunderman is the Southern Territory Manager at Specified Controls. Eric has been with Specified Controls for over a year now and has been able to leverage his previous experiences in technical sales and project engineering to grow the Southeast Territory. Today's presentation will be a brief overview of Specified Controls product offering to include gas detection systems and zoning systems. Eric, floor is yours.
Eric, thanks for the opportunity to come and present for this. I appreciate it. Once again, my name is Eric Brunderman. I'm with Specified Controls. We focus on zoning, specialty controls, dampers, and gas detections. The biggest thing we like to do is keep controls simple, or as simple as possible, so that your teams and your contractors out in the field can provide support and fix and maintain these systems as well. Jumping right into it. So I will share my screen real quick. All right. So jumping right into it. So this is one of our more popular products. It's our electronic remote balancing dampers. So if you've ever had a round or rectangular cable damper, or for instance, if you had a hard ceiling, or you're having a retrofit job where a hard ceiling was going in and you did not have access to dampers, these are a phenomenal tool to use. So there's no field power required, meaning that all the power that is needed for it is in the remote. It runs off of a 9-volt battery that provides power to actuate that damper. And keep in mind that these are also daisy chainable, so you can have up to 6 or more. So for instance, if let's say you have a large louver or something like that that needs to be balanced for any reason, what you can do is actually stack these on top of each other, actuate them, lock them in place, and then you'll have a balancing damper that you can set pretty easily, and much less a very large one. So we can pretty much meet any types of sizes and standards that you're looking for. We can also do, I know that sometimes this is a request, reverse blade as well, so we can provide that. I know typically we provide parallel, but for specialty requests or anything like that, we can do that, as well as a multitude of different types of materials, whether that's aluminum, stainless steel, whatever you're really looking for. The great thing also about these is that cable that runs from the motor. If you look on the right side, that little black box, that motor, it can go up to 200 feet. So a cable, it runs off an RJ11 cable, which is just a simple phone cable, and it connects into that motor, runs over to an outlet or a ceiling cup or even just the female adapter, and you can actually tuck that into a diffuser or put it above the ceiling if you prefer, but we can provide the ceiling plates and things like that as well. Coming from pharma, which is somewhat of my background, I know that you can do balancing at least twice a year. So having something where you can have it locked in and set and know the positioning of your dampers is pretty critical for time saving and cost. So that's something that I would discuss with your customers as well. Like I said, the handheld controller runs off of a 9-volt battery, and you can daisy chain up to 5. So if you need to run everything to a simple utility closet or maintenance room, you can do that without getting your architect upset with you. So we also have a URET kit, which is our electronic remote balancing damper. But in this instance, I know Eric Wright, he pointed this out, and he was working with us to get this product out. So it's an actual retrofit kit that will slide onto any type of damper you're looking at, as long as it's not a locked shaft. So if you have a hand quadrant, you might need to take that off. But you can pretty much fit any shaft from 1/2 inch round to 3/8 inch round and square. And this just slides right on. It attaches, if you see that rail, it'll attach onto that rail, so you don't have to cut any shafts or do any shaft adjustments. And it's really, really simple. You just run that RJ11 cable down to the outlet, plug it in, set it, and walk away. So it's just a really great tool to use. Jumping into gas detection real quick. I know this is one of our major products with Stan Weaver that we have continuously promoted and worked with them on. The big thing about us that sets us apart from pretty much everybody else is our customer support and our engineering support, as well as our lead times. So generally, you're looking at 12 weeks for a lot of times for these gas detection systems, whereas we will quote within 1 to 2 days, and I'm sure Eric and his team will attest to that, and we'll get quotes around to them very quickly. From that, we can also support the engineers. So in the top right, you'll see the parking garage layout with all the sensor locations. So what we can do is, a lot of times, if you want to send us your mechanical plans, or if you're not certain of sensor placements, we can support you in the fact that we can do a layout drawing with your engineers to confirm those sensor locations. I want to touch on the fact that with those drawings, we cannot tell the engineer what to do. All we can do is leave a recommendation. He will have to place those sensors, and then we can confirm with him after that, after the sensors have been placed. For gas detection as well. So the great thing about our systems, we have basically a full turnkey package that we deliver, from pre-programmed sensors and controllers to providing also an optional startup if needed. So for the optional startup, we will actually fly out the engineer that helped design the project, and he will walk the system down with your team and perform the startup functions. I will also say that this is a great training tool as well. So if you're not confident, or your team's not confident in understanding gas detection, running the wire, understanding the commissioning process, this would be a great option to jump in, perform this, and then you can write it off on the back end as training for a couple of your guys in the field. I've seen that done as well, and it's been very effective because you train your guys, they understand what they need to do now, and you don't have to basically come out of pocket for it. So moving into our zoning, well, and to touch on gas detection real quick, I also wanted to mention that for gas detection, we can pretty much meet any type of control scheme and sequence of operation that you're looking for, whether that's staging or zoning. Just let us know. We will I will work with my engineers to get you what you're looking for and get a quick turnaround. And just to give you an idea, it's 2 weeks after we get a PO, it's 2 weeks for customized AutoCAD drawings that will basically connect all the points of connection for all the devices that are connected to that gas detection system. So we will show all the wiring schematics and everything like that. And then after that 2 weeks, we'll send it over to you for approval. Once it's approved, it's 2 weeks to build and ship. So you're looking at around a 4 to 5 week lead time for a full custom gas detection system. It's extremely beneficial, and a lot of times people are holding their hands, if they're having issues, whereas us, you can give us a call anytime, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and we can help troubleshoot and walk you through that issue. Moving into zoning. So for zoning, I wanted to touch on our zone 1. This is just a very general thermostat, diffuser or damper with a transformer. It's self-contained and does not need to be attached to anything. But we also do have a BAS option for that standalone. So if you notice on the top with that diffuser, you'll see a Distech controller that can be brought into a BMS. So for instance, if you have an office on the corner somewhere that's you're having some issues with heating and cooling, what you can do is plug one of these into that office, and if needed, like I said, if they have a BMS, you can actually tie that in, but a lot of times a standalone will do just fine, and it will provide those comfort settings to the person in that office that they're looking for at an economical price. So like I said, they can be 2-position modulating. It is auto changeover, and you do have minimum adjustment settings and positioning, as well as LED lighting on the damper. So, and I also wanted to touch on one more thing. So we are actually working, and we'll be releasing it very soon. So with this Zone 1 application, soon we'll be able to have pretty much any type of thermostat you're looking for. So it won't just be ours. So if you want whatever's in the building currently, we will be able to hook that up with our Zone 1. It's something that we've been coming out and working on, and I wanted to touch on that with you and your team. So here's our moving into our zoning systems. Just to give you an idea, this is our 20 zone system, but I will touch on the fact that we can do 2, 3, 4, 6, and then we have expansions up to 9 and 12. Those are separate zoning panels, but I wanted to touch on the fact that we can go up to even 20, a 20 zone panel. This is our largest panel. So it's a universal commercial zone panel that allows for single HVAC unit to control up to 20 zones. Keep in mind that if you have like 2 5-ton units that you want to control on a single zoning system, you can twin those units together and control in that regard, as long as your supply ducts are ran properly. Each zone is controlled with our Z20 thermostat. The great thing about our zone systems is there's no programming, there's no integration required. It is a standalone, but it's really, really easy to install. Everything is basic thermostat wiring, so you don't need any specialists out there to hook it up. And if somebody, like I said, if somebody's out there, specified controls, what we do is, and we're very proud of it, is our customer support level. We've had multitude of issues out in the field, but anytime that has happened, they've called in, the problem was resolved pretty much right away. It could have been a slipped wire or a cross wire, and then that is immediately resolved, and your team can go home for that evening. And I know that can be frustrating sometimes when you're out in the field and you're still trying to troubleshoot something to get it to meet deadlines. I will also say that for our dampers and our zoning, it can be a direct replacement or alternate for a carrier and train systems. The biggest features are occupied, unoccupied, so you can do scheduling, majority wins, cooling priority control, and minimum call selecting. And then, like I said, that can be used in a combination with Z20 zone thermostats. And you can have 12 zones on a 20 zone board, 15 zones, whatever you want. If you want to account for expansion, you can do that as well. Just let us know what you're doing. If you send over the plans to Stan Weaver, we'll sit down with them and kind of run through the project and make sure you're getting everything you need. And just to kind of give you an idea of what we're looking at right now. So this is typically what you see like for a VAV box. So for our VAV sensors, that typically a VAV box will feed 3 to 5 spaces and control off of a one thermostat. The great thing about our zone ones, if you're running off a VAV box, is these zone ones can have a primary auxiliary. So you can tie those together to feed that space and then control. And that VAV box will still ramp up accordingly. So as that VAV diffuser is calling and it's opening, you'll see that static pressure decreased in the duct, and the box will ramp up to feed that space, or the drive will ramp up to feed that space. That's kind of how it works. Or similarly, if you have a zone panel tied to the unit directly, you can zone it very similarly, and it will be actually tied directly to the unit, so it'll be controlling the unit at that point. One of the other products that we've been really focused on lately, and we've had some great success. So right now is our energy management system. So it's our specified comfort or web comfort. The great thing about this is if you're looking for a system that's not a full BMS, where you have to bring in a whole bunch of controls contractors and things like that, this will actually provide a lot what you're looking for. So not to mention, if you have multiple sites that you're monitoring, it can actually monitor those multiple sites. It has its own front end already pre-built. You just have to assign and bring in those IPs. It runs off of a mesh network, so it is completely wireless. Keep that in mind. So it's just a phenomenal tool in that regard, because you don't have to run additional wire to connect these devices. Keep in mind, so this mesh network will communicate within 100 feet of each device. So if you have 20 devices and one goes down, it's not going to shut down the network. It'll just bounce to the next device and it will operate as designed. The great thing also is because there's a pre-built front end, there's no cost for websites or programming or building that front end, because it's already there. So it allows just for a lot of versatility in terms of being able to bring in equipment, sensors, and control lighting and things like that. So a lot of times what I'll see is a lot of times they'll have HVAC, lighting, and some fans on there, and they'll bring all those into the main front end, and you'll be able to monitor, do energy management as well as set schedules and things of that nature. So the great thing also is it has a large scalability, and so it's perfect for applications like churches and schools. In fact, that's where we see a lot of these is churches and schools. Our largest was actually a theme park that had, I believe, 375 plus devices. Keep in mind, off of just one manager, you're looking at 400 devices. So it allows for that expandability and versatility. And then also on the cost-effective side, you're looking at probably, I want to say, 15% of the cost, 15, 20% of the cost compared to a normal BMS or EMS system. And just to kind of give you an idea, 10 DAV boxes run around 2,200 per zone. With a Jace workstation and web face, you're looking at another 6,000. So you're looking at anywhere from 28 to 32,000. With our zoning, you're looking at around $6,000. So it's an extremely beneficial and cost-effective method to meeting the needs of your customers without breaking the bank, so to speak. And I'll leave that up to questions. Does anybody have any questions? I tried to run through that and meet the deadline, but Eric? You're muted, Eric.
Thank you, thank you. No questions currently in the Q&A section. All the attendees, if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A section and I'll read them out to Eric Brunderman here. Should be a button at the bottom of your Zoom panel. We'll give him a few minutes here, Brunderman, and then let everybody go. But one question I had was, are there any limitations on the different gases we have available?
So I also wanted to, I didn't touch on this, we can do refrigeration as well. You're looking at for 55 plus different gases, and that number continues to add up over, I would say monthly. It's funny how quickly you'll come out with gases and things like that. In terms of limitations, we just have to be wary of sensor placement and making sure that when we get the plans that we're actually meeting the sequence of operation as well as the design parameters for that system. A lot of that will come directly from the engineer if we have any questions, and we'll work with you in that regard. So we like to keep the dialogue open and make sure that you're getting what you're looking for, because this is a life safety system application. It's very important that we cross all our T's and dot all our I's so that you get what you're looking for, and the inspectors pass it out, the fine.
Thank you.
I mean, if nobody else has anything else, I do have a video I can share real quick as well, if you prefer. Go ahead and do that.
The Z3 HCM. Simple zoning control for that building, office, or townhome project. Available in 3-zone heat-cool or heat pump panels or 6-zone universal panel with expansion capabilities up to 12 zones. The SC series of zone control panels is the ideal solution for temperature control. Our traditional zoning panels provide cost-effective and easy-to-install solutions to address the comfort needs of any building. The SC Z3 HCMS is for the standard heat-cool multi-stage HVAC unit. The SC Z3 HPS is for any heat pump applications. These standard zone panels will most likely require a bypass damper. The SC Z6 is a universal zone control panel that is ideal for any type of building and unitary HVAC equipment. Installation is simple, and the panel can be expanded to a 9-zone or 12-zone system. The SC Z6 is definitively the panel of choice to cover virtually all zoning needs when a full BMS is not necessary. With any of our SC series zone panels, ideal temperature can be achieved within virtually any space. As you can see, thermostats and dampers regulate the airflow into the space to achieve ideal comfort levels. The bypass dampers ensure that the duct pressure does not increase to the point of noise or damage to the ductwork. Looking for a more efficient means of zone control? The SC series zone panels with ESP functionality removes the need for bypass dampers. The adjustable electronic static pressure control functionality of this system is ideal for that multifamily project where space is of a concern. The SC series zone panels with ESP from specified controls, eliminating the need for bypass dampers while zoning, the more efficient way to zone your project.
All
Thank
right.
you for that video, Eric. One last call for any questions or answers. Questions, and we'll provide the answers. I'm not seeing anything come in here, Brunderman. So again, thank you for your time. Attendees, thank you for showing up today. If you have any questions, concerns about today's webinar, please reach out to your Stan Weaver salesman, and we'll be happy to assist in any way possible. And last but not least, look out for next month. We will have another webinar, the second Tuesday in April. Thanks again. Have a good day.
Thank you.